Hi, everyone, and welcome to another Stitch and Stream. Today, for Cyber Monday, we are doing a software showcase. So every hour on the hour, we're showing a different program. So this particular time slot is all about a program called SpecialFX, but we'll talk more about that in just a bit. But before we get started on our software program, I want to introduce you to Tammy Madden because you're going to see her in the chat. So, hey, Tammy, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Actually, excited to be here with you for the Cyber Monday Stitch and Stream. It has been exciting so far, and I know we have lots more in store for them this afternoon, so I can't wait to get started.
Yes, absolutely. We do have lots of details. And so if you joined us earlier, then you know how this works. If you were just joining us midday, you can go back and watch the previous episodes of this Stitch and Stream software showcase Cyber Monday. That's a mouthful. And so go back, check out all of the previous ones and watch the ones later today. So, and we do have special prices, so you can check those out on OESD.com for the software that we're talking about. So Tammy, I've got Special FX today, one of my favorite programs. I love the specialty things that we can do to make our embroidery just a little bit more unique. And so that's what I'm showing today. So I guess if there's nothing else to share, everybody knows they'll see you over in the chat. So if you have questions, ask Tammy in the chat and we'll answer some live as well. Did I miss anything, Tammy?
Nope, I can't wait to see what you have to offer today. You know, it's one of my favorite programs too. I call it my one-click wonder. If I want something Fringe, all I have to do is hit a button.
Yeah, I love that. I agree. I love those one-click wonders. All right, well, I will get started, Tammy, and I'll see you back here in just a bit.
Sounds great.
All right, guys. So today, Stitch and Stream at 1 p.m. Is where we are right now, 1 p.m. Central. We are going to talk about Special FX software. And so if you have never seen this in action, this is the program that can add Special FX to your embroidery designs and really just jazz them up, take them up to an additional level. So some of the things that this program can do are, like Tammy said, one click, and you can create a chenille design where we layer the fabric and cut in the channels. You can also create plaid fill, where you can just fill a shape with plaid to make these really cute effects. Auto embossing, one click, and you can create an embossed design, and also mylar fill. So add a little sparkle underneath your design to create that beautiful shimmer and shine. 3D foam, this is a satin stitch technique where we put foam underneath. We also have this new fill type called varsity fill that adds like texture to the stitches. You can also do fringe with this particular program as well, make those cute little fringe designs, and also this ombre fill effect as well. So all of these are created in our Special FX software, and you can combine them into multiple features or multiple techniques in one design. Like this little design that you see here, we have mylar fill for the strawberry, and we have fringe for the leaves. We have foam for the seeds, and also icing. That's actually that varsity fill that makes that really cool texture. And the cupcake part, the paper cupcake part, is actually chenille, where we layer fabric and slice it open to make it fray to get a little fuzzy texture to it. So all of these techniques are in the Special FX software, and you can combine them or have one design that just uses one feature. So how does all that magic happen? Well, just as we said, it's with the Embroidery SpecialFX software. So I'm going to head over and show you some of these features here. So let's take a look at how we can create those. So inside this program, these specialty techniques, they actually are all right here on the toolbar. So whenever you choose a shape, you can apply that technique to any of using any of these icons here. So let's just start with a shape. So I'm going to choose a shape, And then we're going to select something that we can, excuse me, apply this to. And so I'm going to go maybe here to the animals, and let's do like this kitty cat maybe. So I'm going to do this kitty cat, or maybe this little bird here. How about that? We'll do this little chickadee. So now I can select the different elements of this little chickadee and then click the icons on my toolbar. So for the main body, I'm going to click on the plaid fill, and it's just asking me what kind of outline I want around it. And I'm just going to do a run stitch outline and click OK. And then you'll see that it fills our little bird with that plaid fill. I'm going to change the color so it looks like a little chickadee there. And then I'm going to change the plaid. We can change the direction of the plaid so that it's diagonal. I can also change the width and the space between it, the width between the stitches and the space between the stitches. So let's make this, say, a 5 and a 3 for the spacing to fill it in a little bit more. That's pretty cute, right? And then for the wings, I'm going to select those, and then let's fill those with chenille. So chenille is where we layer fabric and we stitch lines, or it can be like a wavy line like this here. And then the lines, we're going to cut between them with either a chenille cutter or a pair of scissors, and it'll create a chenille technique. And so we can see that there. This design's small, so it only has 3 little lines there. And so, and if you don't like what you created, you could always do the undo and maybe decide to put another one. Since that's a small area, maybe we want to fill that with mylar instead. For the wings. Oh, I think that's kind of cute. And then we can even put some little fringe up here for the little feathers on the top. So I'm going to click my fringe tool. It'll open up all of these different little fringe options here. And I can choose from any of these little fringe designs and then put them on my design. So if I just select, I'm just going to do this little round pom-pom here and then just put it right on top here to see. And I think that's a little overpowering. So I'm going to do an undo because we can do that. And let's go back into our fringe tool and maybe just choose one of these. And I think that's going to be much better. So I just added another one and another one. And then once I've added them, I can even rotate them around. So I just use that rotate feature to move that around to make my little feathers sticking up on my little chickadee there. And then we'll do something different for the eyes and the beak. Okay, so I'm just going to move those kind of in position. Now I have these overlapping a little bit, which is perfect because then whenever they fringe, it's going to look a little bit fuller. And so I can put that there. And I'm stitching it right over that top part, which is perfectly fine in this case. The chenille or the plaid is not very dense. So, and then if I choose my eyes, I can fill those. I would fill those with mylar, maybe even the varsity fill. And that's going to fill those in. And I'll do the same thing for the nose. And then we'll choose that option there. And so then I've created this cute little design, and maybe our little chickadee hair up top there is a little bit different color. But now we also have this fun feature here, which is called Prism. If you click Prism, it'll actually allow you to choose different color combinations to change the color of your design into multiple colors. And I can adjust this so that I have less or more of a particular color. So you can see here, I've got more of the white and less of the green and the yellow here. And then I just click OK. And now it's changed the color of my design. So the prism will make anything color changing. So if I choose the prism here with the fringe, you can see how those same options, I can move that around to change those different colors so that I don't have to have a single color design if I don't want to. So we could even go to a different color combo that you want, or you could build your own. I've got some several different colors here that I've put together, and my initials, I usually put my initials after those colors, and so you can have all kinds of different colorways. So that's kind of like just a really quick how you can have these different textures in your design. So let's see these a little bit closer in action. So I'm going to start a new workspace here, and you can also apply this to these built-in designs. So if I click my design library, and I'm going to scroll down and look through my designs here, and I'm going to choose this llama design. And here we saw the little design that I created, and it's got these little elements here that are stitches, but I changed them to be fringe. And his fur, I thought, was a really great example of the varsity fill. So I'm going to just select just the white of my llama, and then I'm going to click one time on the varsity fill. And then I'm going to change it to a little bit different color so that we can see that against the white background. But look at how it changed the texture on the fur. So this is a particular type of stitch that when it's stitched out, it kind of mimics the varsity letters from like Letterman jackets, like that chenille loops. And it stitches out beautifully. And then for the collar here, instead of the design that's around the collar, I actually removed it. So I just hide my little guy here, and then I can select just those things that are around the neck. And so instead of that, I just did a little row of fringe. So I'm going to turn back on my fur, and then let's put our fringe pieces. So if I go to my fringe option here and choose, like, say, this little guy here, so I can click and it'll put it on the workspace, but I can also click and go ahead and rotate it if I want. But if you forget to rotate it, don't worry. You can always reposition these after, but you can actually put them right into position by clicking right on your item and putting them into position. So I'm going to just select and move these down and line them up. I'm going to mirror image this one so that it's a different direction. And then we can just place these right along like that collar area, just to add this cute little fringe look. So just like that, I'm going to rotate this one a little bit more here so that it's not so angled toward the other one. And I think I only need maybe one more little piece here. So I'll put that one into position, and then I'm going to select each of them, and I can actually use my my tools here to space them out evenly as well. So I can use my my center align, my lower align, whatever you need to do to get them in the order that you need. And then I can rotate this whole thing around for the collar. And I am going to get rid of this last one here. And then I changed these to different colors. So I did a pink and a yellow, I think, and a green and a blue. So you just select and change to the color that you want, and then like a little turquoise color here. So isn't that cute? And so it added a cute little fringed collar to my little llama guy. So this is the varsity fill here and the fringe together for this little llama. So you can apply it to shapes, or shapes that you bring in, or the built-in designs if you want. So now let's take a look a little bit more at what you can do with fringe. So I'm going to go into our shapes, and I'm going to choose just a heart shape. So if I go into shapes here and choose my heart, and I can now use my fringe shapes in just a little bit different way. So I've got fringe tool and fringe shape. Fringe shape means that I can do things to this particular shape. Okay, so in this case here, it's got stroke as the option, and I can leave the stroke here and actually put the fringe around my shape. And I can also change that to the different areas of my design as well. And so for the shape here, I'm going to leave that 0.4, and let's see how that does. And we might want to put a little bit less number. So I'm going to say, okay, it's going to ask me to choose. And so I'll just choose, like, say, this fringe here. And you can see it puts it around our heart shape. So if I select that, maybe change it to a color that is for our heart. So that would be pretty cute, right? And if I undo it and we do that again, let's put it a little bit closer together. So I'm going to click on my fringe option here and then grab my my tool, leave it for my fringe stroke here. And then I'm going to put, instead of the positive number, I want them to closer together. So I'm going to do like a negative 0.15 and then click OK. And then we can choose, you know, one of our fans, and then look how cute that is. Isn't that adorable? And so I'm going to undo. Let's see what else we can do with this one. So I select my shape here and then go into my fringe. And for this one, I'm going to choose the fill option. I'm going to leave it a negative number because I want them to overlap just a smidge. And for this one, I'm going to overlap these little pom-poms. So look, isn't that cute? So each one of these are little fringe shapes. Now, if you have never done fringe, it looks like a satin stitch, but you cut the bobbin thread and it'll actually make your threads fringe to the front. And we'll see that here. I'll show you that under the camera. So I'm going to choose that one more time. And then this time I'm going to make rows. And then I'm going to put my rows here to just about 1/4 of an inch in size. Then I filled my shape with fringe rows. Now these are going to fringe down below. It'll tack down the satin stitch at the top so that when we cut our bobbin, these rows will be rows of fringes for this shape here. And so I'm going to undo again, and let's do one last option. And this is the fringe that's going to go around the edge, but fringe on either side. And so for this one, I'm going to make it a little wider. So I'll do a wider satin stitch here. And so here you can see there's a stitch down the center, and I'll cut my bobbin thread and it'll fringe on both sides of my heart. And I've got an example of that stitched out, so you'll see what I mean. So that is the fringe tool, and also the varsity fill that we just saw. So let me show you a couple of examples of this. So here's a cute little example of fringe. This little design here has the little fringe elements around the edge. And so fringe, we usually cut the bobbin thread and it'll make the threads come to the front. But you can't just do this to any design. You have to have a design that's meant for fringe. And it usually has an anchoring stitch that's going to hold it together. And then here you can see we've got plaid in her little design here. And look at this lettering. So this was using that prism effect where instead of just one solid color, we've got all these color changes in this one text. So isn't that adorable? And so let me show you a couple of other fringe options that'll help make sense of all of this. So here's my little llama with my little fringe pieces. So you can see how my thread there fringes up. And I have this example here where I've got the fringe at the end of my little cactus, and the varsity fill is also in the design of the fur and on the cactus to give it texture. So if I kind of raise that up, maybe you can kind of see the texture. So that is the varsity fill. Now I tend to use that varsity fill a lot whenever I'm doing things like this here with this varsity letter on this shoe. So that texture to me really mimics looped chenille. So it is really nice to be able to put that kind of like in this instant in these like varsity kind of letters. And so now for the fringe, to make fringe, if you've never done that, it's actually super duper easy. And so all you're going to do is, if you have a fringe design, it is going to have an anchoring stitch, and that anchoring stitch is going to hold it together whenever you cut the bobbin. from the back of your design. So like on this example here, to make this last couple of elements here fringe for us, so like this yellow one here, or either one of these blue ones that we have not yet fringed, or either the letters, we flip it to the back, and then we're going to cut the white because that's our bobbin, and then it fringes to the top. Okay, and so then we can just take something that has kind of like a sharp point on it and just kind of pull those threads to the top. So that's what fringe is, and you can see I've fringed all the way around. Now you can cut the colored thread, your top thread, and it's going to make a straight edge, but when you cut your bobbin, it makes these little loops. And those little loops are definitely one of my favorites for sure. So here's just a couple of other examples of some things that I've created using the fringe. So in this case here, I've got fringe that I placed in the shape of letters and on the end of this scarf and then around the edge of this little mug rug. And so fringe is a really fun special effect you can apply to your designs. And then this is an example of that varsity stitch as well. So we've seen both of these. So the varsity has that textured fill, and here we used a variegated thread in each of these three. Isn't that beautiful? And then this is our gold King Star metallic thread in that, and it mimics those chenille letters on the Letterman jacket. So whenever it's stitched, so like the looped chenille, whereas our other type of chenille is like the fabric chenille. So this is this little duck. It was placed with fabric in layers and cut channels, and then you fray it or wash it, and it just makes that soft chenille feel to it. So let me head over and show you that, as well as embossing. So embossing is whenever we have a design that it compresses the nap of a fabric, and then we can see that the nap that's not compressed actually forms our design. So let me show you chenille and the embossed examples here, and then we'll take our break here at the end. Okay, so I'm going to head back over to the software here. And let's choose that little duck shape. So that's a really good one. So I'm going to go into my designs again. And then I think that if I search duck, let's see if it comes up. So duck and then search. Yes, look at that. So that's a perfect example right there. Now this duck is actually already mylar. And so, but we can change that. So if I ungroup it so that I can just select the fill part here, I can just click the different types of specialty effects here, like this example, and I turned it into plaid. But if you didn't want it to be plaid, so maybe you wanted that to be the chenille, so I'm going to undo that. And then this is a good example for chenille because we've got more space. So for this, your spacing that you do here is going to depend on your cutter. So your chenille cutter will recommend the distance between the lines. So I'm going to set that to what mine is. You can change to diagonal, and I've got this satin stitch around the edge. So I'm going to just leave it a run around the edge and click OK. And then now when my design stitches, I've got these channels that I can cut to make that chenille shape. Okay. And also, if I didn't want that, I could use this duck to make an embossed design. So I've got my shape of my duck here, and let's put a frame around it. I'm going to go into my designs again here and look in my borders and maybe choose this example here. And it puts a shape around my duck. And then I'm going to select my duck and make it just a smidge smaller so that it fits in my frame. And if I select everything, I can just make sure it's in the center by using my center align. And now with everything selected and one click, I can turn this into an embossed design. So just like that. So now it's going to compress the nap in this area that's brown, and the nap's going to show through here for my duck, and I've just got a decorative edge around it. And most often embossed designs are all one color. So I'm going to set to make that all one single color. So isn't that really cool? So many different things that you could do. That's really just kind of some of my favorite things to do for the Special FX software. But you can also make things 3D foam with this option here if you've got a satin, and you can also make designs that have like an ombre fill pattern to them. And so let me show you that really quick. I think I've got an example of that I can show you. So the ombre fill basically is filling kind of in a gradient so that you can have that effect where it looks like one color fades into another. And so I was just looking for my designs here. So here's my Special FX designs. And so this is a really good example here, this little welcome example here that I've got. And you can see how one color fades into the other. And then I've got another example here that I think is a really cute one. If I could find it, that is text as well. If not, we'll do one. So, oh, that's a good one. This I had on a mixer cover where it says mix it good. And you can see this one, because these letters are large, it fades into there. So all you do for that is just choose your text. We'll just do it right here beside it. And then we're just going to say hello, and then click apply. And then I'm going to make this like a really bold text so we can really see that it is filled well. So I'll choose that one. And then I'm going to click my ombre fill. So the ombre fill actually will fill two colors together. You can see it kind of blend. And if I make it larger, that's kind of a small text, but you can see the colors blend together really well. So let me select it again and make it larger so that we can see those all blend together. So I'm going to check my ombre fill. And now to make it that kind of that gradient effect here, then I just select one letter and choose that color. Oh, there it goes. I was going to say I lost my gradient look to it. And then I just choose the other color. And you can see I've got pink fading into purple, purple fading into blue. And then this is going to be blue fading into green, green fading into yellow, and then yellow fading into orange. So isn't that cool? Oh, I just love that. So that is the ombre fill for the Special FX software. So just a really fun little feature. You could apply it to other designs, not just text. And it makes it just a really fun way to display your text. So, okay, so let's check in with Tammy, see if we have any questions, and then we'll show you what's coming next. So, Tammy, any questions before I show them the details of the software?
Well, we do have one question for you, Ashley. It comes from Lori. She says, "Do you need additional software to use the Special Effects software?"
No, you don't. SpecialFX is a standalone program, meaning that you don't have to buy other programs, but it does install inside of the Embroidery Toolshed. But you don't have to do anything special with that. When you install your SpecialFX program, it will automatically install Toolshed and then dump all your features in there. So when you're ready to use your SpecialFX, open up your Toolshed, and then all your features will be there just like you saw on my screen.
Absolutely. All right, Ashley, that looks at all the questions. I'm excited for the next presenter, so I'm gonna let you go away and tell them who is
Okay.
coming up next.
Sounds well, perfect. Thank you, Tammy. So I'm going to show you, just remind you, the Special FX software is the program that I was using today. It's a fun program that just at the click of a button, you can apply specialty effects to, just like we talked about, Fringe, chenille, that varsity fill, mylar, embossing, the plaid fill, one of my absolute favorite, that ombre gradient technique as well. So lots of different options. These specialty techniques, you select your design or your shape and then just apply that by clicking the icon. So there are over 660 artwork built in, and also over 1,300 designs that you can apply special effects to that are artwork, and you certainly can make them anything that you want. So designs and artwork all included in the software, but you can bring in your own designs if you'd like, and combine these stunning effects for something really, really unique. week. So all of our dime software supports the major stitch formats. So no matter which embroidery machine you use, you can save to the format that works for you. We also have free updates, means we will keep this working with your current version of Windows or Mac, and it does install on both Mac and Windows. So you can actually install it either place or one of each if you want, because you do get 2 installs with each of the software. So for Cyber Monday, the Special FX software is available below. You get 3 PDFs and you get half off a 30-minute private lesson, which is a really great deal. So the software you're going to get at $4.99. So that includes the 3 PDFs that will step you through all of those features and half off of a lesson. So make sure you take advantage of that. You want to shop at OESD.com and check out the special for the SFX. I think Tammy may have put the link to the software in the chat so that you will be able to get right to it. So that is the Special FX software, $4.99 for Cyber Monday, and you'll get emailed and half off coupon for your lesson. So such a great deal. Okay, we've got a super special treat coming up at 2 p.m. Make sure you come back here and join us again in about 30 minutes, 2 p.m. Central. So in about 30 minutes, we are going to have Reen Wilcoxon of Embroidery Garden showing her in the Hoop Designer software. That was a collaboration between Reen and Dime to create that program, and it is oh so fun. You're going to not want to miss that. So make sure you join us back here in just a bit for In the Hoop Designer. Don't forget to, you can take advantage of these special prices and rewatch all the way through tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central. And you can shop our special prices for Cyber Monday at OESD.com. So until we see you for another Cyber Monday Stitch and Stream, we'll say bye for now. Thank you all.